All right, we're back for part two of this stream. I'll change the title. Uh, I do like that thumbnail that I just threw up that I found on my film roll. That is that is me in 1992 with my Mazda RX-7, which I bought brand new off the lot. I loved that car. It had a name. It was given to it by my friends. They called it the Dream Machine because they said it looked like a cloud and that it was a dream come true for me to be driving that car. It's a very fast car. It's a beautiful car. Yes, we are back. Hey, Bronco. Yeah, I pushed the wrong button, man. I'm still not getting used to, or I'm still not used to the live stream on YouTube, the whatever it's called, the features. I pushed the wrong button and I couldn't get back. So I just decided the best thing to do would just be to end the stream and start a new one. And I looked in my film roll to find a good picture for the thumbnail, and I threw up that picture of me with my old car from 1992, and it looks pretty good. I'm looking at it right now. It doesn't look bad. All right, we're back live. So we were just looking at this heavy hitter. This is a Marvel comic. It wasn't Marvel though at the time. It was called Atlas, and a lot of the artists that worked for them went on to work for Marvel. Like I think this might be a Don Heck cover. I don't know for sure. Take a look at this. Look at those colors. So um, this lighting, right? It's like it's night and there's cloud cover. And what's happening here is this is the light that comes from fires burning. This is what this lighting is from. Look at this. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, this cover, this cover will give like a Korean War vet a flashback. Like he comes home, he's been home for like 10 months, and then he goes to the dime store to buy a pack of smokes, and this is on the rack, and he's like that he sees that lighting or something, right? This reminds him because the guys that are drawing this stuff in here, they were also over there and stuff like that. The third platoon strikes. Look at how great this looks. Man, this is this is the good shit right here. This is made for kids. This is kids were reading this, you know, but this is almost like creative art therapy for the guys that are writing it and drawing it that were actually in this shit. Some of them, there's some of them that's what they're doing here. They're getting it out. They're like, God, you guys remember that? Remember what that was like? Ugh. The Doomed Regiment. Marvel Comics were Atlas Comics, and there's still something. Still looks like what it would become. You know, it has this. It feels the same way. This feels like a Marvel comic, even though it isn't one yet. But it feels much different from those things from the late '40s that we were just looking at. Look at these seat covers. Leopard print. Oh, look at that. That's cool. How to win love with powerhouse muscles. Oh, get that Vacutex on that big blackhead on the back of your neck right there. Honey, get the Vacutex. Escape through the bamboo curtain. All right, let's move in. What the hell? Faster, you miserable peasant. Work faster. This is for you and your commissar. He spits right on him. Cowards. Saving a lot of money on color over there at Atlas. Just make everybody yellow, make everybody red. We don't need to color it. This guy is Combat Casey. He's got a full beard because he's in war, and you can get away with this sort of thing during a combat deployment, especially in 1953. Nobody gives a shit. Plus, he's the big, giant, red-headed guy. His first name is Combat. That alone, it's like, you're not going to fuck with this guy. Who's that guy with the long gray beard? It's Casey, sir. Casey? Yes, sir. Nobody fucks with Casey. He doesn't even need a shaving profile. We just let him grow it because of his kill rate. There's nobody is left to kill. We had to retire Combat Casey because he killed them all. See, the infantry's red bearded riot. It's a black day for the commies when Combat Casey gets fighting mad. See, that's what I'm telling you. He's stacking them up like cordwood. Look at the grenades he's got. He's got 5 grenades on the front of his gear. These are heavy. This is heavy. On the front of your LBE like that. Yeah. It's difficult to run around with those. They're banging around and clanking and shit. They're heavy. That's awesome. But not for Casey. He's a giant man. He's a giant of a man. Let's look inside and see what's up with Combat Casey. There's a giant approved. Looks like Oliver Queen. Yeah, he does look like Oliver Queen a bit, doesn't he? All new War Tales. Big code stamp. Man, look at it. He does. He's got a big. Does have like a Green Lantern style mustache. This art is good. Wow, look at that. That's good. What year is this? Combat Casey was published long before you were born, young man. Many moons ago, August of 1956, Combat Casey was on the stands. Summer 56. Wow. So this is like 70 years ago, almost exactly, right? 70 years ago, almost exactly. And here we go. Marvel's doing this thing. They're saving money on colors, and also they're trying to add some panache, something. Let's just paint them red. Some of the panels, we'll just make them everybody red. The art's really good. Ugly pimples. That's your opinion. Combat Casey. It's an underwater thing happening here, unless they're really saving money on color this time. Everything's underwater. It looks great. I like how whoever draws this is like, we're right there. Right? Look at this. We're right in it. Wow. This is nice. looks like Steve Ditko, kind of. Those eyes, didn't they? Don't they? I mean, I could figure out and find out who this is, but it doesn't matter that much to me. It's good. It's a good read. I read this years ago when I first got it. Just like everything, I only own this because it must have been inexpensive. Oh, that's a nice panel. I guess this is a recurring running character, this cat with the glasses. That's like Casey's like corporal or something. Here's more reversible auto seat covers. These are really cheap. They were probably terrible, but people probably bought them. I don't know. The ad's half a page. Look at all these. This is great. 56. This is kind of a new thing. All right, so I'm going to just tell you what the mindset was in 1956, even though I wasn't born yet. Comics that were like the ones we just looked at were viewed as being a better deal all around, not just by price wise, but they were legitimate. This, with all the ads in it and the flimsy thin paper, this is a cheap. This is like that's why my cousins would be like, "Dude, why are you reading these shitty comics? Why do they have ads in them? This is bullshit." They would be like that. They really would. They'd be it's not supposed to be this chintzy, right? And comics did become. It's interesting. I never thought of it that way, but there is a declination. There is a decline. The price goes up, the page count goes down, the quality of I can't say the quality of the art goes down, but it's different. It happened differently. There's something different. All these ads cheapen it, cheapen the experience. People of this generation would be like, another ad. I don't want to read these ads. I'm serious. But us, we're like the ads are the coolest part or whatever, and I love the ads and everything. But of that older generation, they would look at this and they'd be like, why are you reading a comic with all those shitty ads in it? Why don't you get a Dell? Why don't you buy a faucet? Captain Marvel doesn't have all those crappy ads in it. Wow. This is a Russ Heath. Yeah, I think this is a Russ Heath cover. This is one of those grayscale covers. Isn't it? Or is it just black and white? Is this considered a grayscale cover or is this just a black and white cover? It's nice. I like the pack of smokes. See this? There's a Chinese pack of smokes. That's what he's looking at. They're real close. He's like, they're close. They're so close I can smell them. I can smell their cheap Chinese cigarettes. The Decision of Captain Kellner. This looks heavy. March 1956. Wow, it's heavy. Lots of reading. There's a lot of drama happening here. Pathos. Like I said, this is 56. So, I mean, again, man, 3 years back out of the army or something, and you go to the store and you see this, it's like, it's not the greatest thing. It's not the best thing. But in here, the guys that are making this stuff, they're not glorifying it. They're not candy coating it. They're not like switching it around somehow in some fucked up way. I don't know. I think some of this stuff is means something, or I don't know. Probably most of it does. It definitely means something. But I'm saying that it's worthwhile. It's not just a shitty comic book. They're trying to teach young people lessons about war. You know, a lot of these a lot of dudes looking right at you. So there's all this stuff. This was is there something up with the lighting? Is it let me see if I can fix something. I feel like the light's fucked up. Hold on. All right. So there's so much stuff in the media, like in movies and television and in comic books that I consumed as a kid that told you that when you killed a man, you you were forever changed. That when you took another man's life, like even if you were a hero and you had to do it because you were in a war or you were a cop, it it always impacted those characters like in this powerful way and changed their lives over and over. Many movies and television shows that I consumed as a kid. So I always thought about that. Like I thought about that. And I think a lot of other guys also from the same generations and generations before us, the, the media kind of fucked our heads up a little bit, fucked with us a little bit. Because you're like thinking, am I going to be a different person? Am I going to, do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, you worry about it. Yeah, because you are going to be a different person. And you are a different person. Even if you, yeah, yeah. Man, that's nice. You don't see that much, do you? Opportunities for everybody. Balloon Barrage. Man, this thing is just filled with stories. Lots of stories. And they all look good. I read this once before, when I first bought it, but I haven't read it since. Don't be buffaloed by any car repair. Man, look at this shit. That's dope. Hold up. Wow, look at that car with a buffalo on the front of it. I never seen that ad either. That looks really cool. That'd make a nice tattoo. A buffalo car tattoo? That's pretty unique. I don't think anybody else would have that. Oops, fuck. See, I do this shit, man, sometimes. Given, given, given. That's a really nice comic that I just almost ripped. I didn't, but it kind of sounded like it. That was very nice. That was good. I liked that a lot. That Battleground and that Combat Casey. Those are both good, man. Look how similar they are. Like the lettering and everything. Same time period. I think these are both 1956, too. Jeez, it looks like the same comic almost. Oh, man. This is a step up where we're going next. This is a step up. We're going to go back in time, but we're going to be looking at a comic that, even though these are all really good that we looked at, those are good. In my opinion, this is a superior war comic. Man, this is one of my favorites. I only have a couple issues of this. I think I have two or three issues of GI Joe, and it's so good, man. This has nothing to do with the property of the GI Joe, the action figure. This predates it. This has nothing to do with that movie about that war correspondent starring Burgess Meredith, the story of G.I. Joe. This isn't that either. This is a whole different character. His name is G.I. Joe, though, and he's a slap happy soldier that loves killing. His life has not been changed by what I was just talking about earlier. He found a taste for it, and to him, it tastes delicious. It's like Kraft mac and cheese. He could eat it all day and long, all day long. In this story, it's called the Patchwork Quilt. He saves this little war orphan and he wraps a quilt around his back, to make a little baby holding device. And then he runs out of ammo, but he still uses his rifle to crack skulls on commie Chinese guys. In this issue, 9 exciting action features. I don't know what that is. That jar. Is that a lantern? It's a lantern. He's firing off a round. G.I. Joe. June 52. This is a Ziff publication. R Ziff. Man, that's great. Certainly presents well, doesn't it? I know. It looks really good. These stories in here are great. Here's the patchwork quilt story from the cover I was telling you about. There's humor in here woven into this stuff. It's like not for kids at all. I'm moving up and changing the angle a little something. I just feel like there's something funny with for some reason the lighting is like, I don't know what the fuck is up, why it keeps doing it. It's good stuff, man. Private Bragg. Yeah, this is before the Real American Hero. There he is right there. Let's get to this story. G.I. Joe and the Sleeping Beauty. So this is Joe right here. Get a good look at him. He's a big lug. He's kind of like Joe Palooka. There's another Joe story next week. Easy Lynn. Good stuff, huh? Reds, Reds, bang, bang. The Chevalier. Wait, what? Doesn't that mean a horse? Listen flattens your bulging bay window. Isn't that horse in French, Chevalier? So at one point, you got to take this out. Here, let's do this one. At one point, Harvey Comics, you know, they made like comics for little kids, like Casper, Harvey, right? Stumpy, the Stumbo, the Baby Huey. I don't know. They made bloody war comics too. War is hell, Warfront. So in the 50s, during the Korean War, Harvey was making not just comics for little kids, they were making comics for war veterans, prospective war veterans, kids that were going to become war veterans in about 10 years. Setting them up. They would just do it on a rotating basis with these comic books and the movies and the television, get us all hyped up. It worked perfectly, and best decision I ever made in my life. Best job I ever had doing what these guys are doing. Shooting a recoilless rifle off of the back of a Jeep. Hell yes. Now we're talking. Blowing the tracks off of a fucking Chinese tank. It's freaking like 15 yards in front of you. Holy shit. That'll hype you up. Yeah. Very happy the night, you know, when you get home. Buddy system. This is cool. Lots of war comics tonight, I guess. It just happened. Do or Die. This is all random. This is all stuff that came out of box number 8. A lot of green, right? Look at all this olive dress. Just also, let's save money on color. Let's just put everybody in army uniforms. Just kidding. I don't think color caused extra. But yeah, I mean, look at this. This would be boring to somebody who wasn't crazy like me, like who a little kid that wasn't warped, that loved reading all this stuff, that watched Combat with Rick Jason and Vic Morrow. This is like a comic version of that TV show. All of the comics we've been looking at are very similar to that television show, Combat. It didn't glorify combat or World War II or any wars. All the episodes were human interests that involved shitty situations, making the best out of the situations, different members of the squad making mistakes and having to atone for the mistakes, and then there's like be like a redemption arc through the episode. Combat. You can watch it for free on YouTube right now. Pretty sure they have every episode on YouTube. There's another one of those Harveys. It's called Fighting Fronts. Yes, Bronco. You know what? I think I talked about Combat before, and your brother told me that he used to watch that show with your parents. Or that was you. Maybe you mentioned it before, but one of you guys mentioned that you watched Combat, which I guess, I watched it on local television in the Bay Area in the early 80s, and it would come on late night TV. It wasn't shown like on Saturday or Sunday afternoon, like Bonanza or like High Chaparral. Um, yeah, you think it was your brother Riggs? Yeah, your brother as well. It was shown here in Northern California and San Francisco area late at night, Monday through Friday, like in a syndication mode, at like midnight after one episode of Twilight Zone, or what it would be like the news. There'd be an episode of Twilight Zone, or it would be sometimes the Alfred Hitchcock Presents, and then you would get Combat from like midnight to 1 a.m. And I would stay up late, even when I was in high school, and I had a TV in my room, and I would watch Combat, before I went to sleep. And then I would cut school the next day. I didn't go to school very much, but I would stay up late watching Combat. It's a great show. Yes, and you're right, beautifully shot. Some of those episodes are directed and written by people that went on to be famous and stuff. I don't remember exactly, but there might be like Francis Ford Coppola, or somebody did some work on that show. I don't remember who it was. Um, Kubrick or something, or I don't know. It's a very high quality show. You can watch it and you'd be like, "Damn, this is good." It's like every episode is like a movie. Oh, look at little Audrey. She's on some sort. She's got a magnet. She doing. But see, isn't this interesting? So this is like a dirty war comic, and then here's a little Audrey and a Casper ad. People are getting blown up in here. Okay, yeah, all right. So yeah, like 20 years before that, when I was watching it, same deal. And a great show. It's like a last forever show. Look at this, hot. Look at this ad showing all the war titles. And it's almost the same font that they used for Hot Stuff, which was also a Harvey property. And a very popular Harvey property, at least the character himself, was popular with active duty and war veterans all the way up to when I was serving. Like that was a flash that you would see at tattoo shops in the 80s. So in the 80s, you would see flashes of people that had hot stuff tattoos. It was a tattoo, a common one that you would get. There were certain cartoon characters, only certain cartoon characters are bad enough for a soldier or a sailor to tattoo them on their arms. And hot stuff, the little devil, is one that a dude would get tattooed on themselves in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. True. I don't know why. It's just the design because he's a little devil, and there's some underlying implications that you're a little devil if you have this tattoo, that you could be trouble, that you fuck up, that you self-sabotage, or that you can mess up a situation on purpose and you like to do it. Man, what a great comic this is. Guts Road. Pitch and pow. Look at more Edison Bell art. Best ways, the two best ways to fill a pen. I don't even know what's happening here. The technology is so this ancient technology, I don't even get it. Somebody from this time would look at that and go, "She's just filling a pen. Dude. He's filling a pen." And I'm like, "What do you mean filling a pen? What does that even mean?" This guy, man, this guy's name was Bill Battle. Where do you see this cat? This guy right here. He's on the cover, and it's a picture of a guy. He's just an actor or a model. He's not in this comic. But this same guy is on like 3 or 4 different covers of Bill Battle, the One Man Army. He is Bill Battle, the One Man Army, but he's just a model that portrays him just in the photo covers. He's not inside. This is a Fawcett publication. Give him, come on, guys, give him hell. 6 feet under and strictly a southpaw. Only 10 cents. Extra. Me? I hate fish. The saga of 2 pilots shot down at sea. He's got like brand new gear. You know what I mean? Just came from Central Casting. Like they just got this uniform came right out of the costume shop. It's all brand new. Look at it. It's stiff with starch. The helmet's all everything's brand new. Hands are soft. Soft hands. Bill Battle, 6 feet under. The art's great. There he is. He looks cool. He looks like the other guy we just looked like. He looked at. He looks like G.I. Joe, who also looks like I don't know. They all look the same. This motion picture magazine looks really cool. I'd like to look through these just for the ads and to see the chicks. I like it. I like the old. Hey, look at how good this is, man. This is good. Bill Battle, the One Man Army. 1950 something. I don't know. Definitely. It looks really good though. Shit. Wow, look at that. Only the best war comics here on the Meyer Greenblatt channel. Only the best of everything. I mean, I try. I can only strive. I can only do my best even when I'm at my worst. Sometimes when I'm at my worst, my best, it's incrementally decreased. So it's not going to be my best, but it's still better than my worst. Strictly a southpaw, something having to do with somebody who's left-handed. You're going to have to throw that grenade with your left hand. Your right hand got blown off. You better be a good shot. I'm strictly a southpaw now. Get it? That's probably the joke at the end. Daisy. Man, you thought I was kidding, didn't you? It's him again. It's Bill Battle, the One Man Army. It's the same day. They just said put a knife in put this in your mouth. Bite down this knife. Get down in your belly. Don't worry. We'll take the picture. We'll paint. We'll put a purple background at the end. Man, that looks good. What kind of knife is that? It looks like one of those magician knives, right? You know the flimsy ones that are like not even made of real metal. It's like they're foil or something. It ain't always hell. Oh, that's the top story. See? This is true. It ain't always hell. Sometimes you're having fun. Death warrant. Special torture. When a commie needs info, he doesn't care how he gets it. So I'm glad that they're letting kids know or letting people know that it isn't always hell. I mean, it really isn't. You saw Apocalypse Now. Sometimes you're dropping acid, see the Playboy bunnies. It can be fun. It really can. You never know what's going to happen if you're of a certain ilk where you enjoy adrenaline rushes and you like going into situations blindly. Sometimes you purposefully volunteer for that type of shit because you get a rush out of it. It's true. Bill Battle, Death Warrant. This looks great. So it can be fun while it's happening. you make the best of it and you have fun while you're doing it. But then later, in retrospect, it's different for everyone. I really did know a man in Dresden once who was executed for stealing a teapot. Torture! Look at this. What? What did you say, Duke? Man, that looks great. Bigger, better, different. The whiz of all comics. Remember what I told you when I saw that when I was a kid, like when I was like about 12 or 13, when I discovered that there was a comic that had been called Whiz. I thought it was funny, because I was juvenile. Bill Battle, it ain't always hell. Here's the story. We can have fun. It's going to be a good time. It'll all work out in the end. We're going to be back in the tent in 6 or 7 hours. We'll play cards. Everything will be fine. Is that Shelley Winters? He's winking at her. Now look. What is going on? He's winking at her, but he's lighting her cigarette. This is our boy right here. He's a one-man army. Looks nothing like does this look like the guy on the cover? I mean, kinda. There's a big lantern jaw with what is it? With the butt chin. Nice looking character. Good looking guy, but looks just like everybody else. Oh, he's covered in kisses. Man. Oh shit. Medal of Honor Award winner, Lieutenant Colonel Myers. Or his major at the time, but now he's a lieutenant colonel. It's a nice drawing. I like that marine camo. That helmet cover. Oh, what? Everything from Ah to Zowie, the magazine that has it. What is that? Mechanics Illustrated. Wow, I've never seen an ad for Mechanics Illustrated that looks like that. This guy's hair is perfect. And the unibrow is on point. That's great. Bill Battle, the one-man army. You thought you were going to be able to live your whole life without knowing about this. Not so. Not when you subscribe to the Myers Greenblatt channel. Sometimes I'm here to help. Sometimes I'm here to hinder. This is the helping part. I'm helping you to understand. You're present by looking at your past. There's another issue of Warfront. One grenade. That's all it takes. Oh, shit, sorry. Here's Nyoka, the jungle girl. She's got nice legs. Kind of pudgy knees. Her knees are a little pudgy. But she'll do. She'll do. What's going on back here? It's like a photo still, and it's been like chopped. I don't know. It's colorized. It looks good though. Fuck a duck in a pickup truck. That looks pretty good like that. I moved it over because I like the recoilless rifle. An empty can got knocked over. I had mojitos today. They were delicious. She muddled them for me. Mint, fresh mint. Wow, this is a winner. This is a big winner right here. Let's leave that right there. This is National Comics. Oh, shit. This has the Barker in it. That's what this cover is. It's one of my favorite comics, man. So I discovered this is the very first time I ever read the Barker. This is the first time I ever even heard of the Barker. I didn't even know what it was. I just bought this comic because of this cover, because of the card suits. Okay. So I liked, I liked the cards the gambling symbolism. Okay. I liked the gambling symbolism on the cover. I didn't really know that this was a sort of a circus comic. And this one comic started my interest in old circus stuff from like the 30s, 40s, and 50s. And I paid more attention to circus comics and circus stories and circus movies just from reading this one comic. And the reason why is because it's so damn good. So again, this is another one of these Golden Age comics that's like a magazine. It's very heavy. It's heavy. It's got three staples on it. Three staples. It's thick and heavy. April number 47, National Comics, 10 cents. The Barker again holds the winning hand. So at first I didn't understand what any of this stuff was, who these people were. This is the Barker, this is the fat lady, this is the strong man, and this is the midget. These are kind of the main characters in this comic. And the Barker, he's a hype man for a traveling circus. The art inside is absolutely amazing. The stories are about this traveling circus and their adventure, mystery, action stories with humor and perfect art. Like, wait till you see this. So each story pretty much is about them coming to a new town and getting into trouble. Like usually, involves greasy stuff like the mob in that town or a girl that's being mistreated. This is the strongman character. Um, all different types of stuff. Different, it's like melodrama type stuff, but it's real funny and the art's amazing. Lots of words, and they talk like it's the 40s because it is the 40s. Here's the Barker. Um, this is this guy that is like, what is he like that? He's got four arms, or he's like a Spider Man. Not wild. He's a member of the circus. There's a lot of freaks in this circus, and the main characters in the comic are all members of the circus. They're all freaks. They're all circus people, and they're funny and they're cool. And it's like you're on the inside. You're getting to know what it's like, for these people, for the fat lady and the strong man, and all the action, the trouble that they get into. I'll show you in a second what I did because I was so into this comic because it's so good. Sally O'Neill. So there are issues of the Barker. We're not looking at the Barker. We're looking at National Comics featuring the Barker, and this is a great. It's all good. Look how good this is. This is the only issue I have of National Comics, and I just stumbled upon it, and I was lucky. It was lucky. Intellectual Amos. I was lucky that it had this stuff in it that I liked, and I found something that I liked. Quicksilver is a superhero. Um, Man, this is good. So I don't have any. I think I might have one, maybe I have two actual issues of the Barker because the Barker would become his own title. And so then when I found that out, I discovered, Guadalajara comics. Hold on. Hey, I got these books off the shelf. I had to grab these two Guadalajara books off the shelf, but in order to get them, I had to move this guy. He's real dusty, but this is a really cool little guy. So I think this is Remco, maybe Ideal. I don't feel like taking him off, but this is from late 50s, early 60s, and this is like the beginning of making toys with giant heads. Okay, and this guy's articulated, comes with weapons. His weapons are over in a little bag. I forget. This guy's name is Lil Joe. Okay, his name was Lil Joe by Remco. And look at his helmet comes off, and he's got perfect hair under here. Hold on. Man, I wish I had the same hair as Lil Joe. Wait till you see it. It's like Jack Kennedy. He's got, he's like a little Jack Kennedy, man. And his arms move and his hands move. He's got a gun. He's got a bunch of other weapons and stuff that he came with. And he came with this little stand. See, and you can take him off the stand. Isn't that novel and interesting for like 1958, whenever this came out? And this amazing toy. Anyway, that was on the shelf. You wouldn't have seen it otherwise if I hadn't have got up. Oh shit! Did I just see? I do this shit all the time. I didn't hurt it. If I hadn't have gone up to go get these, so I discovered that Guandanaland Comics exists, and they reprint everything, or they did, and they had the ability to. And I discovered that they had an entire volume of every single Barker story in color. In color, man. Every single story of the Barker. The comic that we just looked at that I told you that I fell in love with it because the stories were so good. The art was so great and funny. The Barker. It was like 600 pages. And then I discovered, wait, there's more. They did a Barker volume 2. Oh, look at this. It's crazy, man. Look at this cover. Oh, shit. Fucking nightmare fuel. Look at it all. And it's all great, man. Look at this stuff. I know, crazy, huh? Maybe you don't think it's as cool as I do, but as I often say, man, I'm kind of a weirdo. But look at how good this is. This shit's better than. I mean, we looked at so much good stuff tonight, but this is stuff I like. This. I have a very refined taste, like crude oil. Black. Black as night. Freddie. What is this? Freddie. It's a Charlton publication. It's still only 10 cents. He's trying to get out of going to the recruiter. U.S. Army recruiting. I want you. And he's like, no, he's okay. He's torn between it. She's like, you're not going. Who's going to buy me stuff? And so she's pulling him. And then the recruiter's got a hold of him. Look at that one. Wow. Jungle with Conga. I don't know if Guandanaland is still putting out books, Bronco. If they are, I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't looked in a long time. That was at least 5 years ago that I was buying stuff from them, and their presence kind of diminished. So I'm not sure what happened. I think that he was just they were just selling directly from a website, and it was hard to I don't know. The prices increased on the things that they were making, and I'm not really sure. I just kind of got into other things and stopped. They stopped. It became more difficult to find their stuff. Conga, Jungle Lord, and Skulls for Sale on Dismal River. I like these apes that don't look like apes. You know? They almost have people faces. And even people bodies. They're not completely simian-like. This is good stuff in here. Exactly. I've got a whole collection of their books, like lots. I have like 3 shelves worth, and they're really good. There's a lot of stuff I have that's good. We could look at it sometime, and I'll show you stuff you've never seen before, because I had never seen it before I discovered that Guandanaland was reprinting it, that it was in the public domain. So that's what their thing was, is they reprinted Golden Age comics that were in the public domain, and they sourced actual real comics as the material. That's why you'll see the color differences in here. This is because these are direct, copies of actual comics. These weren't like, download it or whatever. He's just relying on the quality of the print that he has of the comic, and he was copying them, but they were in the public domain, so that's what was happening. This is a really high quality comic book here. Jungle Comics. I have a compilation by Guandanaland of Jungle Comics, but it's in black and white. It's not in color. That's the other thing. Guandonoland did a couple different reprint formats in those large volumes, like you just saw. Yes. So yeah, exactly what you're saying, Bronco. I've seen on Amazon some other people doing the same thing, but it's more expensive and it doesn't look as well done to me. I don't know. I haven't gotten into it because I'm doing other stuff, action figures and a lot of manga. I'm not spending as much money on anything as I used to. I'm kind of I don't buy a lot of new stuff. That's kind of it. But yeah, this is a great way if you don't want to physically, own old comics, Guandonoland, as well as those other people that reprint stuff in the public domain. And I have some other stuff by some other people that we could look at as well, doing the same thing, just like what you're talking about that I got on Amazon. This looks great. And we can look at it and talk about it. And it's a great way to read all this stuff that you would never look at these panels. Look at this. You would never know this existed. You would never know how good. Here's the other thing, man. I'm telling you, I've bitched about this before. I bitched about it before a couple months ago, and I still haven't finished this. And I'm like at the end, and I'm reading these Superman comics. All right, yeah. I bet people are selling the guano. You might be right about that. I think they might have gone up in value. So I'm reading this still, okay, and it's still a slog to get through. Okay. Now you could read this and think that all old comics are like this. They're not. This is just what DC was doing, and it's just these guys. Mainly it's this guy. Mainly it was this guy, in my opinion. This guy's art is getting better as we go, but it's limited by this guy's scripts and this guy's words that he writes and how it's designed. It's not good. Not all comics were like this. Don't be thinking that, well, it's not bad, Meyer, because in 1939 all comics looked like that. They didn't, bro. They didn't. There were fucking a ton of people doing way better work than DC. DC fucking sucked, bro. There's some good stuff like Wonder Woman and Hawkman, but when you look back at the Golden Age stuff, DC's properties didn't get good until it was touched by other people. Jerry Siegel didn't create, I mean, he created Superman kinda, but the Superman we know and love, yeah, with Ma and Pa Kent and Smallville and X-ray heat vision and he can fly, all that stuff comes later. The stuff that those guys are writing, it was boring, dude. It was boring. If my mom gave me a Superman, I'd be like, Mom, can you buy me Jungle Comics next time? It sucks. Superman blows. Um, and I know the years don't exactly line up. I'm just giving you my opinion because everybody like overblows certain things and says some things are so great. And not everything that people say is great, and some things that you never heard of are best. They call it telescopic vision in the old books. Oh yeah, you're right. They do call it telescopic vision. There's a bunch of there's so many inconsistencies in that book I just showed you. Um, oh, the other thing I forgot to tell you that came from this book. I was reading this and I was thinking, wow, you know, the Fleischer brothers are who made Superman because this stuff in here was the basis for the cartoons. The cartoons are great. They're great. But this isn't the same as the cartoons. The cartoons were those guys said, yeah, let's make a cartoon about this Superman. Yeah, there's a bunch of differences, and it's not just it's not just the verbiage. It's it's everything, man. It's really boring and dry and repetitive, and mostly it's about social justice. It's about him as Clark Kent fixing problems that have to do with corruption in the government, corruption in everything. It's always a newspaper story, almost completely a newspaper story. There's no real supervillains until the end. We're finally getting this mad scientist whose name is Luthor, but he's not actually Lex Luthor. This is him right here. He has red hair. He's a full-grown an adult. They're meeting each other, and they're like 30 years old. And he's not the same Lex Luthor. Uh, anyway, the cartoons are better than the comic. The Superman in the cartoons is the Superman that we would know and love, but somewhere there was a change happened between the comics and the cartoon. I think Wambi is a Jungle Boy. It looks good. I mean, I'm just making, I'm talking. I'm filling time here. This is a live stream. I'm trying to be entertaining. Uh, I'm not super judgmental about it. I mean, I've been reading the whole thing, but as I've been reading that whole book, it's been hard to get through. I've had to take breaks and read an issue of Blue Exorcist, or I can read some Japanese titty comic just to cleanse my palate. I've got some really good Japanese titty comics that I've been reading. I won't show you much, but some of this stuff is ridiculously good. Let's change pace. Let's shift up. First of all, let's talk about the Spawn manga that you've never heard of before, called Shadows of Spawn. This is a complete collection. It's huge, but it's small. So it's not big. It's like the size of a paperback book, but it's a gazillion pages. And it's about this new Spawn that's drawn in Japanese manga style, but it takes place in Los Angeles. It takes place in LA in present day, and it's a new kid. It is really good. Don't, yeah. But what I got up to show you as well, oh, yeah, that's good too. Check this out. I'm going to do a review on this. This is called Hauntress by Minotauro Mochizuki. This is a really creepy horror comic that actually made the hair stand up on my arm. You know how that happens? This comic book actually was spine tingling. It really did give me an uneasy. Yeah, so this is good, man. You could probably find it on Amazon. I think that's where I got it. It's look up Spawn Shadows of Spawn, and it was inexpensive. It's huge. 17.99. I think I might have paid less for it. Um, the page count is ridiculous, but it's smaller, so that's it is to be continued too. I'm sorry to tell you that. The page count is huge, and I'll do a review for this coming up on the channel soon, as well as this Hauntress. So, man, this is a really good, creepy horror manga. It's old. It's from like the 90s, I think. It's just got recently translated and turned into an American version. And this is it's about a stalker. It's really creepy. It's about this horrible lady stalker that keeps showing up at his apartment, bro, and keeps effing with him. And it's fucked up. Really good. Hauntress. Hauntress. But the reason I got up mainly was to show you these ridiculous titty comics that I've been reading. These Japanese ones. 2.5 Dimensional Seduction is hilarious. These are like the Betty and Veronica, except they're one girl, and she dresses up in cosplay and bounces around. And then this is next level weirdness. This is called In the Heavenly Prison, The Devil Enchants Me. Uh, this is about. See, here's his issue too. This this is just so weird, man. This main character, the whole thing is weird. Let me read you the diminutive Kairu Shabana has been coddled his whole life, and he yearns to stand tall as a proper adult, a true man among men. So when he's invited to the remote and prestigious Kibujima Academy, he leaps at the chance to make it on his own, unaware that the school of his dreams is actually a nest of lust-devouring succubi. Yeah, so this chick right here, she's like the head mistress. And this is the main character who's supposed to be a boy, but it looks like a girl dressed up like a boy, but you're supposed to think it's a boy. I mean, I can't open these up. I highly recommend all this weird stuff that I read. Um, I mean, not all of it. The stuff that I just showed you is good, especially that Hauntress. This was good. I like it. I like this a lot. And you know what I got recently that I haven't. Where is it? Give me a second again. Hold on. Let me grab one more thing. I haven't read this yet, but I got this because of Hauntress. Fragments of Horror by Junji Ito. Look at that. It's a hardback. This is a bunch of short stories by this Japanese horror master. Whoa, look at that. Whoa. Cool, huh? I haven't read this yet, but I read Huntress, and then I started getting more recommendations from classic Japanese, like, look at that. Yeah, I found this on sale, and so I've been getting into more of this Japanese body horror stuff just because I've been reading it, and then Amazon's been suggesting it to me. So that's why I've been pick these few up, a couple of them up. They're so good, and then the other stuff too. Man, this shit's it's really this good. And I think that what started that was this. Let me show you. So what started that? What started me getting the recommendations was Cat Eyed Boy. So first, YouTube recommended me episodes of the Cat Eyed Boy television show from like the early 70s, the animated TV. I guess it's not really an anime. It's pre-anime. It has a different title. The type of animation that this show uses is not anime. It's something else. It's something that predates it. So I saw that show, and I really liked it. I watched several episodes and realized that the show is based on an actual manga that's from the 60s. And so I got this, and it's freaking awesome. And it's about this little kid, the cat-eyed boy, who's a ninja, but he's also like half human, half cat or something. He's got great hair. It was really cool, man. And so I was like, this is neat. And so I got this, and then they started recommending me other stuff. Cat-eyed boy. This is great. This is the original Jiro Kawada Bat manga. This is volume 2. I don't have volume 1. Volume 1 wasn't available. This is a new version that was printed by DC Comics, where they have actually translated and brought us everything from the old days. Look at this. All the Japanese Batman comics from the 60s and 70s. That's what this is from. This is old stuff. This is the Japanese version of Batman. Look at that. Nice, huh? Jiro Kawada. This guy's the master of Batman in Japan. Look at how cool that is. I like how everything's a little bit different, but better. Right? Look at that. Whoa. Huh? Our Greenblatt channel. Please like, share, and subscribe for more stuff like this. Right? Then I discovered that one of my favorite movies was based on a Japanese comic book called Ichi the Killer. So then I started reading Ichi the Killer. I'm not through this all the way, but I'm like, holy crap, man. This is great. There's lots of good stuff. Lots of good Japanese comics. You can't be closed-minded and think that just because you have to learn to read from right to left instead of left to right, that you're going to completely exclude an entire country's graphic artiste. So it's really good stuff. The quality of the work is amazing. Some of the new stuff is even good, and this isn't even that new. But this is a new manga type thing, and this particular there's a cartoon about this, and it's called Gantz, and I don't know if I can randomly open this up because there's Yes, right. I like them too, Bronco. I saw that there's a comic, and I was like, "Holy crap!" And my son too. He's like, "Holy crap! They got an Ichi the Killer manga," and I said, "Yeah, check it out." So this Gantz thing, this is really hyper violent, and there's nudity in here like throughout. But the story is super compelling. It's about all these people that all die at the same time and end up in a purgatory situation, and they're all like locked in a room, and they're all dead, and but alive in an afterlife. And then they have to become like some sort of special agents and go on special missions and shit. And there's demons in here, and there's it's Japanese, so there's nudity and sex and demons and violence. Just the things that I love. Hey, not everything I get is good. I tried this new Ultraman comic. This is the beginning of a new age. I thought it was boring. I couldn't. I stopped. Maybe I'll come back and give it another try, but it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. So, not everything is great. Ultraman's not that good right now. At least this Ultraman, I don't know. I didn't care for it, but I'm not going to give up on it completely. Maybe I'll go back to the new Ultraman. Hey, we're almost done. We're going to look at just a couple more comics. We're going to get back to old American comics. Uh, and we're just going to kind of look at these and I'll talk about them because this is something else that I discovered in the same way, and we might as well finish this. This is the end of box number 8. So it looks like the end of box number 8 is nothing but Lev Gleason Daredevil. So this isn't the Daredevil, from Marvel Comics, Matt Murdock. This is a whole different Daredevil, and on top of that, he's barely even in the comic. You almost never see him. He might show up at the beginning of a story and introduce something, and then he might show up at the end to tie it all up in a couple panels. Because mainly this whole comic is about these guys, Pee Wee and his friends, the little wise guys. Pee Wee is this guy right here. He's kind of the hero and main character. He's got big balls, but he's like real tiny. And uh, I discovered this comic. I discovered that these were really cheap and nobody was interested in them. They were very inexpensive and they're very high quality as well. They were made by this guy named Charles Byro, right? He was almost doing everything. He was hired by this guy, Lev Gleason, to work and make these comics. And this was a real small imprint with only a handful of titles. So he hires Chuck, and a lot of people pronounce his name Bureau, but it really is pronounced Byro because I've read a bunch about these guys and they tell you how to pronounce his name. And then this guy Bob Wood. So this guy Bob Wood become becomes infamous, okay? Because he murders a woman with an iron, with like, one of those irons that you iron clothes with. And the woman that he murdered was his girlfriend. And he murdered her like in a penthouse suite where they were living because Chuck and Bob had a huge hit comic that wasn't Daredevil. They were just, like I said, there's only a handful of titles. They made a comic called Crime Does Not Pay. And for a short time, it was the top selling comic in the entire United States. Crime Does Not Pay. And it was a real small imprint. Like I said, it's just Lev and Chuck and Bob, and they don't have very many people to pay. Lev doesn't. So he's spending a lot of money on these guys. These guys are making more money than other people in the business at this point. And so they were living high on the hog. And Bob Wood had a drinking problem and maybe some other behavioral problems. I don't know. But he was in a hotel in a suite with some girl that wasn't even like his wife or girlfriend, if I remember correctly. And they got really drunk and in a big argument. And he really did bash her head in with an iron. And it made the papers. It was huge. It happened like on Park Avenue, like the hotel was a big deal. And he was a big deal. His name was already famous for Crime Does Not Pay. It was not that far from being famous. Because of the comic that he worked for, crime does not pay. And then he bashes his girlfriend's head in with an iron. It's just like the cover of one of the comics, because these comics that they made, that Crime Does Not Pay, was a gory comic. It was like purposefully. It was one of the ones that they were trying to get rid of. That they made the comics code for, was to get rid of what these guys were kind of doing. Some of the stuff they were doing. But this is wholesome stuff. It's really good, actually. I love these. That's why I bought them all. But the backstory on these guys is part of what makes this interesting to me. Eventually, the stuff happens in real time, and Bob's name is going to be removed from the cover. It happens. They remove all traces of Bob after he murders that girl. Bad things happen to Bob. So Bob went to prison for that. Bob would. He went to prison for killing that girl, but not for very long, for only like 4 years or 5 years. Yeah, so he got out of jail, but he didn't go back to the city. He stayed in New Jersey. And get this, he had a job not as an artist. Look, here it is. Here's what they were doing. So at the end, he didn't have a job as an artist. He was working in a diner. He was working like in a cafe, like on the Jersey Turnpike. And he was murdered mysteriously. Nobody knows who did it. His body was found like on the side of the turnpike. So this is what they were doing that was so huge. This comic shocked the world at the time. This was a #1 seller from coast to coast, 8 to 80. If you were a weird kid and your mom didn't care, you might be reading this comic, but mostly this is read by every adult. I mean, this was everywhere. Women and men. Think about today. Think about how today how fascinated people are by true crime programming on television and on YouTube. It's a giant genre, and women love this. So this was the beginning of it. It was right at your fingertips. It was only 10 cents, and you could just buy this at the grocery store, and they were real crimes. So inside of here are real crimes. All the comics are based on actual criminals. It's all the original and the best. So the reason why it says the original and the best is because after these guys became so successful, they started the entire genre of true crime. So then after them, all these other comics are saying, this is the best crime comic. This is the best crime comic. This is the best one. They're saying this is the original and the best, all true, real crime. Oh, this is another one of their comics. They had one Western title. It was called Black Diamond Western, and it's pretty good because it's a hero. This guy, his name is Black Diamond. He's kind of like the Lone Ranger. This is like actually a fake out. I think this is Black Diamond, and this is this guy dressed up like Black Diamond. I read this comic. Here's another one. This is an unusual knockoff. This is Uncle Charlie's Fables. This is after Bob is gone, and Charles Biro, he's kind of in charge of Lev Gleason Publications. Not kind of, he is. He's everything. He's writing and drawing, and then he's hiring other people to draw, but he's mostly doing all the drawing himself, Uncle Charlie. And so this, all new and original stories, this is like these parodies of fables and fairy tales. It's really good, man. We'll look at it for a second. We're almost done. So these guys were really talented, and they were old school dudes that smoked big fat cigars, wore hats. Every time they went outside, they wear a hat. Here's Uncle Charlie. He's not wearing a hat right here, though. He's got a picture of himself in here. Go on, Uncle Charlie. They didn't really build a dragon big enough to hold 200 soldiers, did they? That was a wonderful story, but the one I like best is Lady Two-Face. Please tell it again. All right, I will sometime. But let's hear what the boys have to say. Don't interrupt them, girls. Go on with the story about the dragon, Uncle Charlie. What did Peter Pester do next? I'll bet he fell on his face when he found out there were people inside. I wonder if these are his grandkids or something. They might be. Or his kid. He's too old now. This is 1952. This is number 3. This is the 3rd issue of Uncle Charlie's Fables. Peter Pester takes the cake. Look at that freaking thing. Man, that's cool. So he's pretty funny. Charles Biro. Everything that we've been looking at was basically written by him. Not basically, it was. All of those Daredevil comics that I was saying are actually really good on the inside. The stories about the little wise guys that I really like, it's all written by him. And boy, does he love to write. He loves to write. Charlie's funny, right? He knows he's funny. He's a smart guy. He really was a smart guy. Look at this stuff. He was working around the clock. Gee, Jiminy Christmas. To make funny books for nobody. You know, I don't know. I mean, for everybody. They're for everybody. But I mean, this was not something to be proud of at this time. You know, I don't know. You've heard those stories before, like from Jack Kirby or Stan Lee. You know, they say you go to a party and you know your wife introduces you and they ask you what you do and you say I'm an artist or I'm in advertising. I'm an illustrator. I'm a graphic art. I mean, the last thing you say is you draw funny books. That's going to end the conversation. They're going to scoff at you. It's lowbrow shit right here. This is lowbrow shit. But Charles Biro was putting his life and his blood, sweat, tears into it. Tears, especially because this guy was his frickin' buddy. These guys were actually friends. So, oh, look, this is it. This is at the end. Look, Bob's name's not on here. So these guys were really friends. They achieved tremendous success very quickly, you know, and they're like, holy crap, we're living a high on the hog. They're like having, you know, rack of ribs, you know, the crown rib roast at Sardi's. You know what I mean? That's what that's where these guys are at. These guys were at the top. They were like suddenly, wow. At that point, when that was happening, you could say that you were in comics, right? If this is your so at this point, they could you were able to say, hey, this is this guy, you know, Chuck Biro. He's the guy that writes Crime Does Not Pay, and they'd be like, holy shit, have him over tonight. Get him over here. I want to meet that guy. So that's where they were. They went from this, where you don't even want to let people know this is what you're making. You're drawing naked people for little kids, and it doesn't mean anything. You know, it's ephemera. It's gone. You just throw it away. But now it's a phenomenon. I mean, this is important. These guys could actually get dates, could get invited to places, could get free dinners, and Lev is paying well because he's maybe they're shuffling money around. Maybe this isn't even a comics company. I don't know. Maybe it's an extension of someone else's business to launder money somehow. I'm not sure. I'm just guessing. It's possible. Things were greasy in 1950. Things are greasy now, but it was exceptionally greasy in 1952. Um, so yeah, who knows? He lost his buddy, his friend. He over the top murders this chick. And it's something that should be on the cover of their magazines. Hey man, I hope you enjoyed this live stream tonight. This is the second one. We did two. I started one and I messed it up and I pushed the wrong button, so we had to stop that one and we started another one. And it's over now. Glad you were here. My name is Dave. I host the Meyer Greenblatt channel. I make videos on here. If you enjoyed this one, you should like, share, and subscribe for more stuff. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for being here. Talk to you guys later.